What's up, guys? Welcome to Win Wealth, and today we're going to be talking about how to talk to a client. Now, this is very important because the way you talk to clients is going to lead to client retention. It's going to help with your sales, and it comes from a perspective of you knowing what you're talking about and them really trusting in you to provide information and a service.
So the first thing you want to do whenever you have a new lead, or even just reaching out to a new person, is you want to get very to the point. You don't want to use extra words that always just waste their time, and maybe they'll just stop reading the message if you go on too long. You want to get right to the point. For example, let's say someone posts on Facebook and they say, I need a website. All you have to message is along the lines of, hey, let's get on a call and discuss what you need for your website. Boom. That's all you need to send. You don't need to send your number. You don't need to send like, hey, I'm this guy from this company. I saw your message on Facebook, and you don't need any of that. Just get right to the point and your turnaround rate will be much higher. I've proven that in my own experience.
Don't BS. Get to the point. Tell them exactly what the deal is, how you're going to help. You don't want to pitter-patter, oversell yourself. You don't want to overpromise. Mm-hmm. You really want to listen to what they need and then go from there.
You don't want to sound like a robot. In your initial message, you don't want to be like, oh, this is just a spam. So you want to make it very personalized, or at least just make it so it doesn't sound like you're copy and pasting these messages and sending it, which I don't recommend doing ever, especially when you're trying to do it on Facebook. Don't just copy and paste. Make sure you're typing out each one. Yes, it takes a little more time, but that time is valuable in the sense of you'll be getting more sales by using up that little bit of time every time.
Yeah, one little quick tip is using their name. So in sales, you always want to address them with their name. Hey, Bobby, it's nice to meet you. Everybody loves to hear their own name, so make sure you say it a lot. People are going to want to listen to you. So if you want to get someone's attention, you call them by their name, right? It's going to immediately grab their attention.
And as far as not just Facebook, but let's say you're on the phone with a client. Well, how are you going to talk to them? Are you going to say, what's up, man? How you doing? No, you need to be professional. And at the same time, you want to act like you're the doctor and you're prescribing them your service. So you need to ask them, what's your problem? What are you dealing with? What do you want for your website? Get the full picture. Understand what they want from you, whether you're selling a website, social media management, or anything freelancing-wise. And that way you can better diagnose them of what they need from you and what the price is going to be and everything.
Yeah, it's a combination of being the expert in the situation, but also being humble enough to listen to their exact problem. You don't want to just be like, well, I can make you a website, if that's not what they're really looking for. So make sure that you're listening to what they're, hey, so what made you want to hop on this call with me today? Listen to what they have to say, be humble enough to hear them, and then respond with a recommendation, just like you said with a doctor.
Yeah.
A doctor, a good doctor wouldn't just give you a pill. He would say, okay, so let's get down to the root cause of what your problem is. So you're not making enough sales. So why do you think that is? Ask questions, be humble, but also come from the place of being an expert, the same way the doctor would at his practice.
You need to have full confidence every time you speak to a client. You need to always know what's going on. So that's why we recommend, mastering whatever skill you're gonna do as fast as possible. You can start out not having it mastered, but you need to master it fast. So then anytime they have a question about anything, you're on it and you know exactly what to say, because that's very important. If they feel for a second when you're initially getting them as a client that you don't know what you're doing, they probably won't want to pay you 4 digits or 5 digits for a single service. So that's extremely important.
I've also learned that a lot of people say the person who is talking has the power, but I actually believe that is the opposite case. In a phone call, a sales call, you want to be the one listening the most and waiting for your turn to speak. You don't want to just ramble on. I'm a web developer, I can do this, I can do that, blah, blah, blah. I think you should do this, blah. just slow down a lot and let them talk. The more that they talk, the more that they're trying to prove themselves or the more they're trying to tell you what they want, just listen. You don't need to ramble on about how great you are. And I think that goes back to the point of you were saying, you know, you should be experienced in what you're trying to sell them on.
Yeah.
At the same time, don't BS people because people can sniff it. People really can sense. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't know what you're talking about, they can't trust you and they're not going to pay you anything. They're not going to give you their credit card number if they can't trust you at all.
Authenticity in everything in your life, in your relationships, in your business, in your family. Authenticity, being honest, being who you are is the most important aspect to having a successful and happy life.